Hello, 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 and welcome to Mobsters Players Revenge Tools and Tips. And my name is Brodus. In this video clip, we're going to be going over the My Mobster tab. And you'll be spending a lot of time in this tab here, just looking at your stats. Let's go over some of the content of this tab. Now, before I get into the main body of this tab, I want to go and talk about these sub-tabs up here, because this is typically when you use these tabs, sub-tabs. However, you can use them anytime in the game because they appear on every tab in the game. So, first of all, let's look at the fight log. This here basically tells you who has attacked you. If you're new to the game, something you need to know. When you see in here, in the attack tab, that you was put on the hit list by Lotto Man, Mega Pimpin', that means that it was a part of Lotto. So you don't need to, get all bent out of shape that Lotto Man, Mega Pimpin' from admin attacked you. It basically means that you was on the hit list. Okay? None of the attacks count toward you, so you absolutely don't need to worry about them. And you don't need to go attack the individual that collected the bounty on you. Okay? For example, like here, Mega Gangster successfully executed the hit placed on you by Lotto Man. You don't have to go after Mega Gangster, because all they simply was doing was playing Lotto, and again, the attacks don't count against you. This is just to show you that you was attacked during Lotto. Now, there is a compare tab here. If you want to get a feel for the strength of the individual that attacked you, for example here, Mega Smiley, which has been around for a long time, you go ahead and click the compare, and it brings up this fancy box. Okay, here, this here basically gives you the scenarios of you attacking Mega Smiley. Okay, now, if you go over here and show your fight details, it will show you what you fought with. You can see right here very clearly that Baby Jane has a crappy account. They're going to easily get whooped, maybe even by a level 1. Typically, Baby Jane is a level 100. Come back just a second. She's a level 100. So that means that Baby Jane should be fighting with, let's go back here to your fight details. She should be fighting with 500 of each of these equipment categories: henchmen, weapons, vehicles, and armor. She should have 500 of those, 500 of those, 500 of those, and 500 of those, and she does not. So that, not in theory, but in practice, is an incredibly weak account. I am sure that Baby Jane has a reason for having this low in for being this low in equipment. Okay, so just because you see an individual being low in equipment doesn't mean that they're totally off his rockers. All right, so now you can look at their fight details. In this case here, a Mega Bulldog was fighting with 60,155. He's up Mega, so that means he probably has 50,000 mercs. This is all the equipment he has. All right, he has quite a bit of an ensemble here of equipment. I mean, basically during that Lotto session, he basically probably just killed Baby Jane with one hit. So that is the attack tab, and you can come over here for whatever reasons to look at who has attacked you. Perhaps you're in a war, perhaps there's a tard on you, or just someone that just doesn't want to leave you alone, and you want to keep track and see if they're hitting you. You come over to the fight log and take a look and see whether that tardo has been on you. Now, show user is basically just to look at another account. Okay, I've probably mentioned this in other clips. Well, I'll mention it again. If you want to see, for example, another user and you have their ID, okay, what you do is you enter the ID here. Let's just do, for example, this guy here, and we can go right to their tab. Iron Horse, and it looks like he's dead. All right. Now, if I wanted to send Iron Horse a message, I can send him a message. What's up? And submit. Comment is submitted, and there it is. What's up from Baby Jane? All right. Now, I'll just doing that just to demonstrate the user tab or sub tab. Okay. Let's go back to my Mobster. Now, the settings here, I know I mentioned this in previous clips, but I'm going to mention it again. Over here, you want to make sure, if you want to get notified of Lotto, that your Lotto is on. Okay? When your Lotto is on, and Lotto is when there is a Lotto session going on, you typically get a notification right about at the bottom of your screen, and you'll see that Lotto is going on. Okay? If you don't see that indication and Lotto is going on, that means that you're probably on the hit list, and the system is designed in such a way that it does not inform you that Lotto is going on because you are on the hit list. So keep that in mind. Now, here's where you can change your crew name. Okay, when you upload your avatar, you can change your password. I'm not sure what this pin is for, and this pin log is. Perhaps that's something for a future clip, but right now I don't know what that is. Okay, here show users images. That means, for example, you go into the BC. If you turn this off, you won't see anybody's images. Let's take a look and see how that works. Let's turn it off for now. Okay, and let's go over to the BC real quick. And you see that everybody's avatar is shut off. I don't know why people want to do that. I guess because they don't want to use up bandwidth. That's probably a good reason to do that. But back into settings. But we're going to put the notifier back on. This is one thing that I don't like about the settings tab, is that once you select something, it shuts you out. And if you need to make further changes, you got to go back in. But not a big deal. If you don't want anybody to post on your wall, you turn this off. And what the other individual will get is a do not disturb sign, and they cannot post on your wall. Sometimes this is a good idea if you want censorship, because you got people out there that are very rude, they're very outraged, they're very nasty, they're very vulgar, and they attack you verbally on your wall. And you know, nobody has to contend with that. If they don't feel they have to, that's their right. You can just go ahead and take this off, and then nobody will be able to post on your wall. That means nobody. All right. So those are the sub-tabs. Now let's get into the bulk of the My Mobster page. Now obviously here, or maybe not obvious to some, this is your avatar, and Baby Jane is being a little sexy there. I guess that's why she has that sexy flasher, because she's a sexy girl. Alright, let's get into some of the stats here. Some people are just, you know, their stats is everything to them. That makes the world to them. They want to have the best stats possible because they want to, you know, just be whatever, appear to be badass or whatever the case may be, or it's for self-satisfaction, gratification, which is all good. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is where you see your stats. Right here, it shows you the level of the account. She's a level 100. This is her bounty, 24 plus billion. This is the number of missions she's accomplished. It's the number of fights she's won, number of fights she's lost, the number of deaths, the kills, and the bounties. Look, right here is where that indicator we just mentioned will show up. That means that Lotto is on right now. Okay? And if I went over real quickly to the hit list tab, you see that Lotto's going on. You know that Lotto's going on because you'll always see Mega Pimpin' in there as the person that put anybody on the hit list. All right, that was a sidebar. Let's go back. All right, we were talking about the stats here. Something to understand here. When you attack somebody and you kill them, it counts towards both your wins and your kills. Make sense? If you attack somebody, like for example, you went to the attack list, or you just attacked a rival, you attacked them, and you got a bunch of wins, you get the wins, and then when you kill them, you also get a kill for it. You also get a kill if you kill someone with just punches. So keep that in mind too. Same is true when you collect bounties, whether just hunting or in fights or in Lotto. You'll get wins and kills. All right. Let's move up over here. These right here are the achievements. Okay, these are various achievements that everybody just strives to get. Everybody wants the platinum one, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and plat out and have all of them platted out. For some reason, Baby Jane doesn't want to plat out here. See, this is an indication, and it's also subject for another clip. Look how many achievements she has, but look at her level, and she has no equipment, right? What does that tell you? That tells you that this is probably Baby Jane's beta. That means that she has a main that's probably beefy as hell, or just a much more stronger, and she just uses her beta for whatever reasons she uses it for. But back to the achievements. If you want to know what each one of these is for, you just click on it, and it tells you. Okay, this one is for bounties. All right. This one here is for missions. This one is here's for the bank. Okay, you can just click on through and find out what each one are for. After playing the game for a while, you'll know exactly what they're for. Okay, one thing to keep in mind about the achievements is they have levels, just like mastery levels, just like missions. You have the bronze level, you have the silver level, you have the gold level, and you have the platinum level. And the platinum level will be this cool color blue with silver. Okay, this is your bronze color, this is your silver, and this is your gold color of achievements. Okay, so every time you hit a mastery, reach a mastery, the color of these will change. All right, let's go down to equipment. This is basically the armor equipment that you have. Okay, I'm sure if you've played a while, you go to some pages, some people's walls, and you'll see that this armor list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. It just scrolls right off the screen. Okay. Now, what's significant about the armor, about the equipment, other than it looks nice? What you can do is you can roll over a piece of equipment and ascertain, the stats for that equipment. You can see how many you own. Okay. This here is typically the name of it, and then the attack and defense values of it. Right. So if I roll over any of these equipment items, these armor items, it gives me the stats for that particular equipment. All right. There is another place where you can find this information regarding regarding the stats of your equipment, and that is in. We'll go there real quick and show you. It is in the equipment tab. Okay. And let's go to armor, for example. If you own anything in here, it will show up as owned. See, like right here. This is armor. It shows here that she has 1. Now, that's another place where you can find out the stats for your equipment. If you go back to my Mobster page, and just basically to prove what I just said, here's the egg, and there's 1. So that's 2 places where you can find the stats for your equipment. Right? The equipment tab, the equipment stats here is basically all self-explanatory. You can see what you have and roll over them. You can tell what their values are. Very, very simple. You scroll down further on, and you can see what properties you own. Okay. When you're on your tab, you can see what you own. When you're on someone else's tab, you will not be able to see what they own. Neither when it comes to properties or equipment. Okay. If you scroll down a little bit here, you'll see your records tabs, and this is what Baby Jane owns right now. Okay. Only she is able to see the stats for those brackets, properties, and equipment. Okay, what else we have here? Alrighty. Now, obviously, that's the name of the mobster and the crew they are. Now, this punch button here is simply just to punch. Incidentally, you can punch yourself, and a lot of people do this to commit suicide. You can punch yourself. I just punched myself and dealt 9 damage. Wow, that's a big deal. Okay. The CIAO, that is another method of suicide, and you basically, I think you pay 5 favor points. Let's see. You play 5 favor points and you commit suicide. People commit suicide because they don't want to level up. For example, they want to stay at a certain level for a certain reason that's part of their goal for that particular account. So they don't want to level, so they come over here and they'll pay the 5 points and suicide. I basically just kill myself, or have one of my other accounts kill me. so I suicide. I don't necessarily have to pay 5 favor points to do that. I know a number of ways to suicide. Another way to suicide is by going and attacking someone that's way, way, way bigger than you, and you die that way. Well, that's what that little CIAO. I thought it meant Chow, and I guess it is Chow. Here is where you find your ID for that account. And show user is simply to find someone else that you know their ID. We type in their ID, for example. You go find user. It takes you to their tab. A lot of times people do this to go to their friends tab and leave a message. Baby Jane did 10 minutes ago. All right. Okay, let's go back to my Mobster. What else do we have here? We have the skills tab. Alrighty. A lot of people don't pay very much attention to this tab. I'll tell you why here in a second, but let me go over some things here. Right up here, it says you need 6,122 experience points to gain another level. Okay, so how do you gain experience points? You get experience points primarily through attacking someone and beating them. Okay, and you gain experience points through doing missions, and you acquire experience points that way. If you want to level up, you basically just come over here. You don't have to, but if you want to look and see how much you need to level up, it tells you how much you need, and this will show you how much you need. Okay, now over here it says you currently have 0 skill points. That means that she cannot increase any of these values here because she has no skill points. How do you get skill points? And this is one of the things I always wondered why Pimp designed it this way, or whoever designed the app, is why is it that we can only get skill points by doing missions? That is the only way you can get skill points, is by doing missions. So for every how is it for that's not correct. You also get skill points by leveling up. So every time you level, you get 3 skill points. So that's another way of accumulating skill points, through doing missions and leveling up. But still, to me, that's, we have few opportunities to gain skill points, and skill points are very, very important. But anyway, there's a science to it. If you use the skill points correctly, you can have a very, very effective account depending upon what you want to do with it. And you'll learn more about developing accounts elsewhere in my guide, because I'm putting together a complete guide on how to play the game. This is just the video clips aspect of it, but I have a text guide that's in the works right now, and you'll see more about building certain types of accounts. Anyway, to increase your attack and your defense, your energy, your health, and your stamina, you need skill points to do that. If you have skill points up here, all you gotta do is increase, and it'll automatically increase it by 1. Each of these, no matter what. When it comes to energy, if you increase it, it increases it by 10. I'm going to tell you right now, do not use skill points on energy. It'd be a waste of your skill points. Why? Because you can get energy a lot of ways. You can get energy through your top mobs. You can get energy by purchasing them. Okay, you can get energy through daily bonuses. So there's no real need to beef up your skill stats with energy. You just leave it at 10 forever. Forget about it. All right, just don't even bother with it. If you do, you're just going to be wasting your skill points that you can be using for these other tabs, these other skills. Now, for every skill point that you use, you get 10 health. Right? Or is it 15? No, it's 10. 10 health. Now, this one here is there's an exception. To get 1 stamina, you have to use 2 skill points. So keep that in mind. Now, you can max out. Say, for example, you have 100 skill points, and you want to use 100 skill points towards health. You just come over here and click max. And it's going to ask you, you want to use all your skill points towards health? You click yes. Make sure you know what you're doing before you click yes. I've made a mistake and used skill points on energy by mistake versus using them on health. And I just said not long ago, don't waste your skill points on health. And a dummy me went and used a whole load of skill points on energy, and you can't get them back. So now custom means you just want to use a number of skill points for that particular skill, and you just enter the number that you want to use. Here is something, and this is a TDM nugget of information. What's a TDM? A TDM is a top dog mobster. What's a top dog mobster? You're going to read more about it in my guide. This has a lot to do with the individual's character, his knowledge base, how he plays the game, and the skill level that he has in playing the game. These are individuals that know how to play every aspect of the game, and building accounts, interacting with other mobsters. You're not being tardos, being respectful, having fun, this and that. Good character, okay? And they also know how to play the game, and they know how to capitalize on all the aspects of the game so they can get the best possible account that they can possibly have. One of the things that's overlooked by a lot of people, even those that are seasoned, they've got huge accounts, but one of the things that they overlook are these two skills right here in this particular tab. They don't invest in them. This here, these tabs here, these skills here are just as important as any percentages that you get in attack and defense by virtue of an avatar item, or by virtue of a racket that awards attack and defense strengths. Okay, you can come over here and add to attack and defense as well. Don't just leave them at 1. Okay, you don't have to increase them every time you come here, but you certainly, I would say, put 1/3 of your skill points toward these two here. Follow what I'm saying? Use whatever. Say, for example, you have 100 skill points that you want to use. Okay, and a lot depends upon where you're at in your game and what you want to do. But if you start your account right, you start it right from the very beginning, and you work it that way, you'll grow strong and slow, but you'll grow strong. Okay. So if you have like 100 skill points, you want to use anywhere from 20 to 30 on attack and defense, increasing 1 and 1, 1 and 1, 1 and 1, whatever, while you increasing the rest of them. Hopefully that makes sense. What I'm saying, the bottom line is, don't overlook this tab. A lot of people do that, okay, and they are not as clever as they think they are. They don't think it's significant. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in this game for the long haul, you're into it, you like it, you see it as something that you want to, you see yourself playing this here in a couple of years, and there's plenty of us out there that have been doing this for a long time. I've been playing Mobster Players Revenge since MySpace. Okay, I have not been playing religiously every single year, but I was playing MySpace, and then I came across Mobster Players Revenge about 4 years ago, and I've been engaging it ever since. So I know what's going on. This is a critical tab to be familiar with, and I advise you to, if you want to build a strong account, and that takes time to build a strong account. See, some people are in such a hurry to level up and buy this and that to get strong, and what basically happens, they build very weak accounts. I am not going to give you any of my stats or anything like that, but I have beat megas, and I'm not even a mega, and I whooped their ass, and not by attack, but by certain tactics and certain skills that I have acquired over the years. I'm able to make a mega a schmega. And that's why I call them mega schmegas, because they all big and bad, this and that, and little old me whoop their ass and ice them. So, anyway, some of that has to do with this tab here, but not very much of it, a small part of it. Anyway, point being is, you want to consider investing in strength and defense in the skills tab. Moving along here. The avatar tab, I went over this briefly in one of the other clips, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail here. Okay, this is your avatar. You can select whether you want female or male, light or dark. It's very self-explanatory, intuitive. Over here, going down a little bit here, as you can select whatever equipment that you have and wear it. For example, let's put a pumpkin head on her. Okay, let's put the shoes on. Okay, bottoms. You get the point. All right. We just changed Baby Jane to fucking Pumpkin Jane. In any event, and I'm not going to really save this here. What you can do is come down here, And you can, this is also another neat little feature that's been added recently to the game, is you can wear anything. Okay, wear anything you want, because you have a preference to particular avatar items. And you can wear anything you want, but you can use the best that you have in attack or defense and then save it. So no matter what you wear, the game is going to use your best possible avatar equipment in the fight. Make sense? Then if you want to keep whatever you just selected here, you just apply changes, and there you go. I'm not going to do that here. All right. And then you save it here as well. Now, down here, this is the loadout for your equipment. This is how much attack and defense you have increase in percentage. So if you have, for example, a loadout of 100, which is like pathetic. Nobody has a loadout of 100. Maybe level 1, maybe not even him. And you have 113% increase in it in attack. If you have 100, then your attack all of a sudden now becomes 213. All right, to keep that in mind. I've seen people, actually I have an account that's over 300% here. So whatever my loadout is, that means when I attack someone, there's a loadout at the very bottom that shows your total strength. It's increased by 300%, threefold. Pretty cool. All right, this tab here is pretty much self-explanatory. These tabs across the top here is where you choose the different avatar items. They're basically all the same, have all the same information, and you interact with them all the same way. A couple of things to know about them. Now, you, for example, here, let's see if we can refresh this and get Baby Jane back in her sexy suit. There she is. All right, bump this out of the avatar. We go back there. All right, now, say, for example, I wanted to acquire other avatar items for Baby Jane. I can preview what it looks like. So, for example, I want to preview this hat. It's a safari hat. I click preview, and then we look at what it looks like. And here it looks like stupid. But you can preview what it looks like. Now, it tells you what type of item this is. And typically, all of these here are armor. I don't think I've seen anything here that wasn't armor. I think I may have seen a few that was henchmen, but I could be wrong. Now, obviously, it gives you the name of the item and the attack and defense percentage loadout increase. Okay? So that hat gives you 25% more attack and 24% more defense. Now, I've seen items that are way more than that, at least right now as the date of this video. There's items up there, I think I've seen one that's 57%. It's not necessarily an avatar item, but there's a higher percentage attack and defense values in other equipment. Something to keep in mind. This here is pretty self-explanatory. It's the attack and defensive value. This is the cost of the item. This is how many you have. This available amount to some people it doesn't mean nothing, but it does mean something depending upon where you're at in your game. This is saying that this is all that's left. When this runs out, there's going to be no more of those hats. So keep that in mind. Every once in a while, they happen to come back, but that's very, very rare. Self-explanatory again. Select how many you want, and then buy them. Keep in mind, they cost favor points. All right? Now, typically, your items, okay, if, say, for example, you have an item that's higher in value in attack and defense than this here, and you don't see that at the top here, and that brings another point is that at the top is usually the highest avatar item that they have. Okay, because you go down, the attack and defense values start going down. However, if you own an attack item, an avatar item that's higher than these, you won't see it up there, but you'll see it somewhere down the lines, right about the time that the item came out. I don't know if that makes any sense. It didn't to me either. But you'll figure it out. All right. So that is basically the My Mobster tab. There's a lot of stuff in My Mobster tab. You'll spend a lot of time here, whether, checking out your stats and your equipment, whatever the case may be, checking out your skill points, or working on your avatar. There is one point that I need to mention here, and I'm glad I just remembered it. We go back to the skills tab, and remember, this is where you increase your skills. Okay? Now, this is how you change your beta. Okay, you want to go from your main to something else. You click Save Games, and it brings you to this fancy box. Okay, right now this is the beta. These are actually all betas. Well, a lot of people just call this main and these betas, but they're all actually betas. But right now, this beta is in use, and these are the other ones you can switch to. You can go ahead and click on it, and then it will switch you to another beta, and you'll have to stay in that beta for, I think it's like 55 minutes or something like that. And there's a mission out there that actually reduces that time by 5 minutes. Big whoopee do. But that's how you switch betas. Okay, and sometimes it's very useful to switch beta depending upon what's going on with you and your game. Okay, there's a tactic. There are a lot of tactics you can use with switching to betas. A lot, and I'll get more into that in the text material to the guide when I talk about tactics. And there's quite a few that you can use to outwit your opponent, even the ones that are bigger than you. It pisses them off. Anyway, that is the My Mobster tab. Hopefully you got something out of this here. My name is Brodus. You have a good one. MLAR.